I'm Dr. Bernous, though many people know me simply as Dr. B or Dr. Beebe. Today we are honored to welcome Maartje Nevejan, director of the newly released documentary Just Our Heart. In this film, Nevejan explores grief not as a pathology to be treated, nor as a private burden to be endured in isolation, but as a rite of passage, an initiatory process that has the potential to transform the individual and the collective. She reframes grief as a relational and communal experience, one that calls for containment, ritual, and shared meaning-making rather than suppression or clinical reduction. Rather than prescribing a single method, Just Our Heart opens a contemplative space. It asks what becomes possible when grief is witnessed collectively. What shifts when mourning is ritualized rather than privatized? And how might we reimagine healing not as symptom reduction, but as integration? We are grateful to have Maartje with us today to discuss the philosophical, psychological, and cultural implications of her work, and to reflect on grief as both a deeply personal experience and a shared human threshold. Welcome, Maartje, to Astane. Just Our Heart. What a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Tell me, how did you come up with this name?
Well, we had another name in the beginning, Annette, the producer, and I. It was For Those Who Remain.
For Those Who Remain.
Yes. And then it turned out that there was a computer game called like that, so we couldn't use it. And then we tried a lot of other titles, but one of the main music pieces in the film is called Just. It's a song by David Lang, the opera man. He's from the States, actually. And this song is... Do you know the Song of Songs?
Yes.
Yes, it's from the Bible. It's the big love affair. Mm-hmm. And this whole song is actually, it's 14 minutes, and it's the whole Song of Songs in 14 minutes. And it's spread like sprinkles through the film. Mm.
And I guess it also connects well with the movie about the heart. And
yes, it's a line in the song, Just Our Heart, and it's exactly the message of the film. Like how do we? It sounds easy, keep an open heart, but how do we do that? It's so difficult to keep it open if you have major things like grief.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
And I think it was also a personal journey for you, was it?
Yes.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about
that? No,
not
at all. I always start laughing. It runs in my family. If we have something terrible to say,
you laugh first.
We start.
I like this style. That's a very classy style.
Yes, okay, good. So my husband died.
Sorry to hear that.
Yes, me too. So he died 2.5 years ago. I was already shooting the film. And actually the whole film happened during the process of getting sick, dying, and my grieving afterwards. So wow. It's really, the film is not about my own grief process, but everything, of course, in every second is what is somehow this whole process of me.
Being involved in making that movie and you yourself going through this?
Yes, it was really strange, right? It's you know the expression life imitates art and art imitates life sometimes, and I was in the middle of it, but it helped me a lot actually.
Yeah. And this is very interesting for me when I was watching the movie, is that you see this as a rite of passage.
Yes.
And also the way you bring this collective side into the healing. So the healing is not a personal or private matter.
No.
It happens through connection to the collective,
yes,
community, and through the use of rituals.
Exactly. Well, I'm happy you saw that because that was the whole idea. Because what I noticed when my love died, so it was not so much a breaking of the heart as a opening of the heart, I would say, and an opening to all the suffering. So it was not just mine. There was a friend of ours died 2 weeks after my love died. So it was the same group of friends. We were again in the same place. The same people who did the funeral were there. And it was so weird for me because it's so personal if your big love dies and you carry him until the grave, and then there's this moment of he goes through the pathway and I stay in. Yeah. And to see this 2 weeks later with someone else, and then I saw everything happening in the world, and it became actually. It helped me a lot to see that this is what really binds us as humanity. We all grieve. Mm-hmm. Only after 2 years I realized, oh my God, every couple in the world will go through an experience as I do. Unless you die together in a car accident or something. But actually everybody, it took me 2 years to realize this. Mm-hmm. Like,
That's very interesting. So I'm just curious, being a psychologist, obviously, and you, while making that movie, going through this process yourself, how did you think your personal experience impacted the outcome, which is the movie? Do you think that it made some impact how the movie was developed?
Yeah, I think so, because, of course, I was much more sensitive to it. And I was also looking for other stories. So the first story was the ayahuasca story, right? Mm. It's the first scientific study to ayahuasca and prolonged grief disorder. Mm. Does it help? And how does it help? Does it help therapy and ayahuasca or only ayahuasca? So this was the study. And they asked me to do a film about it. It was done in Barcelona. And after that, maybe because I was going through a grief process myself, I thought it's not enough for a movie. This is not, it's so complicated, mm-hmm. grief. It has so many sides. It's so personal. I didn't want to just do a movie about ayahuasca and grief, even though I thought it was fantastic that she did. I mean, it was never done before. The prolonged grief disorder is in the DSM-5. Yes. For the first time, grief. For me, that is a bit double. Like, I don't think it's a disease, grief. It's a natural thing. We all go through it. Mm-hmm. So it really hurt. Yeah, I was hurt to hear that it was in DSM.
Yeah, but let me open up this.
The double thing is that now finally people can get free.
Yeah, but it's not just any grief. It's a prolonged situation
yes.
and complicated grief. If it's more than 12 months past and the individual is unable to function, there are certain criteria. Yeah. For example, I'm just shocked that this happened to you and you continued the process. So you were grieving, but it was not complicated grief. So you were still able to function. This is only happening to...
Maybe I was able to function because I had this
art.
Because, as it is said in the movie, grief is love that has nowhere to go.
And that, to me, is the key point.
It's the key point. And I had...
a place that your love could go.
A place that I could go. And all my love and all my grief was in the movie. So I was very scared. I still had some shooting to do after... Rijn, that's the name of my love, died. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Can I still do it? And then the producer, Annette, she said, I'm coming over, I will be with you. Let's just try. And actually, I was so happy.
That you were doing it.
I was, it just opened me up again. I was up every morning at 7. I could carry the whole crew. We went to Bolivia. Everybody got ill. I didn't get ill. I was just walking there with 5,000 meter high in the mountains. You know, everybody is short of breath. And I don't know, it energized me. So maybe because of it, it was easier.
Yeah, you were carrying, maybe you were living for 2 people at the same time.
Oh, much more.
Personally, I mean,
Yeah,
as you lost your husband.
yeah, but losing my husband connected me to so much more. I mean, not only my own death, I had many grief stories before that, not so big as this one, but you carry them all with you.
Yeah. Just our heart, right? We carry them here.
Yeah, we're carrying them here. Yeah.
They continue living in psychology. What we say is that they continue, the loved ones continue living in our hearts and in our minds.
Yes.
So that is understandable. But putting it into this format, I really liked it, especially as you know, in Astana, we are always promoting the collective side of psyche.
Yes.
That how important it is for us to connect to the collective. Yes. And you know, in all time, and we are coming, and I'm talking about myself, from a country that is very collectivistic. But Western cultures usually are very individualistic.
Yes, yes.
So promoting this collective aspect of healing was very interesting for me. Also, another angle I'd like to know your take on it, about the need for ritualistic and rite of passage. In the history, we've had this throughout ages that helped us go from one stage to another through the rites of passage. And it seems that the modern man has forgotten about this and the need for this. But you're proposing with your movie about the need we have for the rite of passage and rituals to really clarify this for our depth of our psyche.
Yes, because, well, it's also in the movie, psychology can do only so much because it uses words. And the wonderful thing of rituals is you don't need words, you need actions. And I totally agree that, especially with death in the West, we are so individualistic. And it really helps to have a community around you and to do something collectively. And if that can be a ritual, it's even better. It's a bit... So I had it myself at the funeral. So I told my kids, I said, well, if you are very embarrassed, I won't do it. But I really feel that I need a drum. I need a drum. And I want to drum during the funeral. But if you're too embarrassed by your crazy mother, I won't do it, right? And he said, no, you can go along. But I felt almost, like a fake, like a fake person, you know, doing a ritual. Nobody taught me. No, there was just this need to do this because we were on a boat, and I'm from Amsterdam, so a lot of the dead people we go to the...
Spread the ashes?
No, not to spread the ashes. The whole coffin goes in a boat, and that's how we go to the graveyard.
Oh, okay. And
on
then?
The canals. Yeah. So you're on the canals with all the children in the boat and my friends in all the boats around it. And I just had this drum, and I just needed to bang, bang, bang. And yeah, that came natural. But there is this sense of, do I have the authority to make a ritual? And what you see in the movie is that there's this one woman who says, yeah, so the Catholic or the Christian or the Islamic, the rituals that we modern people can feel it's hypocritical. They don't fit us anymore. There's this whole atheistic attitude in the West, of course, in Europe. So with that, we also lost rituals.
Yes.
Or we didn't believe in them anymore. So we have to invent new ones.
Exactly.
But the problem is, how do you give yourself the authority to do so? So it's the same nervousness I had with this.
But
this
you were
drum,
doing it naturally.
Like, am I allowed to do this? Is it okay? Yeah.
But it helped.
Oh God, it helped so much.
Yeah.
and all these rituals help. And so we also go into ecological and colonial grief in the film. So they even do a ritual for a mountain. But also that is not, you cannot just do a ritual on a mountain. You have to ask permission
from the mountain.
From the mountain to do it. So I had to sort of ask permission for my children to do it, and then to the drum to do it. Is it okay? So you have to ask permission first, and if you get it, then it's fine. And I do think, of course, I'm in a cultural bubble in the Netherlands, but I see lots of people do rituals. And even in the theater, the ritual is more and more coming back, and in the music and in festivals. So I see that there's a renaissance of rituals, and everybody is inventing new ones. And I think, especially in grief, it helps so much to have a form where your love can go to.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just there, and you, like my whole body, it's very fleshy grief. It just happens in your body, and because you miss another body, and it's not that you can still connect and dream about the other person, but the body is gone, right? So you feel it in your body. You need something to do with it, and if you don't have it, it's very easy to get depressed and somber
yes. So the way you come up with this is that to actually express it in a physical realm.
Yes.
Because it's psychological and it's emotional. You put it into action. You bring it into this world.
And you use the elements of this world, of this planet, water, earth, fire. Yeah, you use all these earthy things to connect. Maybe not even with the other person, but with yourself, to go through, to start living again.
Yeah. Maybe it's also, I'm just, thinking out loud with you, that maybe psychologically looking at this, or spiritually even looking at this, it's just how the body is just returning back to the earth.
Yes.
And being decomposed to its own original natural form. By doing a ritual this way, we are celebrating, we are also seeing this as another chapter, another transformation.
Yes.
Right? So it's a form of transformation. And I think what you're saying is very relevant, because lately modern men are just looking at, we need more. We need more rituals, and we need to have our own way of expressing our existence.
Yes.
An individualized way, I think it's absolutely fine. And maybe the permission, you said you got it from your kids, and maybe from your own psyche, the depth that, can I do this? And something in you said, yeah, sure, you can do it. It's your grief, it's your way, you're an artist, you can express it any way you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I think this is really important. I have seen a lot of different approaches to grief and people trying different ways, but the way you connect the ritual, the collective, and making this not just a private matter, but a collective, I think that's really interesting. And that's something that more people need to connect to.
Yeah, that people can carry you in the grief. That's very, it's also a message in the film with the children.
With the children, yeah.
That the whole village somehow supports the kids in this grieving. And what I also felt with the rituals, in a strange way, so in one way they connect you with the earth, with the mountain, with the water of the sea, with the sun. But also you create a distance. I don't know quite how to explain it. So instead of that, you think, oh, my poor self, this is happening to me. And it absolutely feels like your life is crushed. Everything is nothing goes, everything is different. Your whole life is upside down. But because of a ritual, you suddenly realize, oh, everybody has this. So it becomes a binding thing.
Mm.
And if you're too alone in it, you can just
Lose yourself.
lose yourself in self-pity, and it's almost a daily practice, I found. Like, instead of saying, I will never go to Paris again, or I will never do this again, or uh, transform it in, oh my God, it was so nice to always go to Paris together. Or so it's a different way of looking at the same thing, and rituals can help you with that. Instead of going in the road, and it's a deep, deep hole. There's never again, never again. I will die alone, whatever. Instead of that, you go the other way, or in gratefulness and thanking the other person and going to the love. So what is said in the movie, it hurts so much if someone dies that the whole world, if you start looking through the wound only, the wound of the grief, of the wound that somebody is not there anymore, the wound of your whole future going different than you always thought, then the whole world becomes terrible and harsh and maybe without any meaning. If you can look through the lens, literally the lens of the love behind the grief, why you loved this person so much, then everything is back into the meaning again. So it's really a transformation from looking through the wound, even though you're so wounded, I mean physically wounded. It's actually the same thing. Well, as you know, the heartbreak, it's the same things in your brain light up as physical pain. It's the same areas in your brain. So it is really pain. But if you only look through that lens, then the whole world is also pain. And if you can somehow transform it or realize it or meditate it back to love, you're okay.
I have a question here.
Yes.
What we are saying is that because you've gone through this
Yes.
while you were making the movie, I think
Yeah.
you're the best person to answer this, is that there is a private side to the grieving
Yes.
and there is the collective side.
Yes.
How did you manage to, because I'm assuming that every person needs to also have a private time
Yes. Yes.
when they do the grieving, and also the collective side. How did you manage to create that space for yourself as your private grieving and then the collective and the ritualistic aspect?
I couldn't do so I did the collective the first week after he died, and then I couldn't be with people anymore. I needed to go. I rented a house in the middle of the forest because all the sounds and everything and all the talking, and it was just too much,
Yep.
physically. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't see it. So the only thing I could do was be in the forest, lie on the earth under a tree, and let the tree heal
By
me.
yourself.
Yeah, just by myself, alone. Until my kids, after 2 weeks, they said, hey, where are you? They were grieving too. I had to hold them, of course, but I held them for so long that I thought, okay, I just need to, even with my own kids who lost their father, I just couldn't do it anymore. It was just too much. So I needed to be totally alone. And I could cry, I could yell, I could lay on the floor, whatever I needed to do. And then after 2 weeks, the kids said, you have to come home again. And I said, yeah, okay, I will. And I learned that there's a way, there's time that you have to be alone. I need to be alone much more than before. Because it's only 2.5 years, and even now I still need to be alone. So I meditate, but also I just do nothing. I just stare out the window, just let the feelings come. And what I realized is so I cry a lot in the mornings, maybe like 10 minutes, 15, but full on. Like, with sounds, and you maybe fall on the floor, totally full on. And then after 15 minutes, it's like, okay, now I'm going to have a coffee. It's not every morning, but if I feel that I have to grieve, I just have to do it fully, because then
You're good for
after
the
50
rest of the
minutes,
day.
I'm okay. If I don't do that, I become a sad, sad person the whole day. So I'm fighting against tears and fighting, and I don't do it. Fuck it. I just need to express it, and if I express it, it's okay. I can handle it.
Yeah. As you know, we're talking about grief, and I'm sure you know because you've said that you're also interested and visited Iran.
Yes.
Currently, Iranian people are really grieving
Oh,
for the major
and dancing, huh?
and dancing, and they come together regarding this big loss that has happened
Yes.
lately. And I think this is really important, and it's the timing of talking about this is very relevant,
Yes.
as they're going through the same process.
Well, I can tell you, when I saw, when I saw the image of all the body bags, and my friends who still live there, they said how many people died, and then I saw them dancing on these graves. That touches me so deep. Actually, I learned this in Iran because I did some really heavy stuff a project there with girls from the street in Tehran. And so there was all this trauma work. And then afterwards we just put on ABBA and we danced. I never danced so much as in Iran. So when I see the people, also when you have a party in Iran and it starts at 7, at 7:10 everybody is dancing. Like in the Netherlands, you have a party, it starts at 8. At 12 nobody dances. So maybe the people begin to dance. But in Iran it's just, wow. And I think it is so incredibly, I don't know, this resilience of Iranian people and the joy. And then in the middle of dancing, somebody starts to sing from their hearts. And it, again, I'm in tears, but because I'm so touched because of that. So I think that's incredible, yeah. And I think the whole world can learn so much from that.
Yeah, but it's really good that having this kind of perspective, because a lot of times, as you said, people don't know what to do with their grief.
This is the myth we have in the Netherlands and in a lot of the West. So since Kubler-Ross, like, okay, you have 5 stages, and then you're
acceptance, and then you need to move on.
And then you move on. Well, it's never going to get away.
Yes.
You just learn to live with it. And then it can become a beautiful thing. I see it as a humus, humus layer. Do you know humus? We say, so like earth. Like there's a layer of earth in somewhere here, on my heart, near my heart. And so new things come out of it. I don't even want to lose it. So it gives my whole existence a depth it didn't have before. And it's a depth from which I can, create and live and love and grieve and love and grieve again. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to become numb, or I need my heart to stay open. And this is a daily struggle almost, or daily, it's not a struggle.
But you're willing to pay that price because
I am.
You think it's so valuable to keep it alive.
My life would be worthless if my heart is not open, if I cannot feel anymore. So when Rijn died, I made this promise to myself, this is not going to break me, because then I might as well die with him. I want to keep my heart open and love. And
but what I'm hearing is very interesting, because in order to be able to love more, it seems that you also want to keep that wounded part alive.
Yes.
Because that gives you the ability to love more. So someone who can feel the pain
Yes.
can also feel the pleasure.
Yes.
Am I hearing it correctly?
Yes. Yes. You probably also experienced that
Yes.
yourself.
Absolutely. And the way you said it, I think since you're familiar with the Iranian culture.
I love the mix, actually. I became attached to it. It has something juicy in it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Never heard of it, that expression, but that's very interesting.
Where the two meet,
Uh-huh.
it has this juice of life, and the tears of life, it's the same wetness.
That flows.
Yeah, it flows. I don't know. I somehow get attached to. If I don't feel the grief for a few days,
Uh-huh.
I feel lost.
That's very interesting.
So it's an anchor, and it became an anchor. And actually, it always was, because also as a child, when I lost animals or my grandparents, or so all the loss of children, it's so crucial that it's such a big event in your life to all the children go through this phase. Like, am I going to die?
Yeah.
Really? Like, we pretend we don't die.
That's why maybe we try to forget it. Yep.
Yeah, we don't want to
keep it available.
Yeah, we want to push it away,
Exactly.
put the crematoria far away, old people far away in the forest. Let's just pretend we're young. Plastic
forever.
surgery, yeah. We want to stay young forever. We just pretend it doesn't happen. But every child has this phase that he cannot sleep or she cannot sleep, because you realize, everybody I know is going to die. And then the astonishing idea that you also are going. So I think this is so incredible of humans, that they still attach to each other, even though they know it's temporary.
Exactly.
They can still open their hearts, and even though they know they will be in so much pain.
When that moment arrives.
And it will arrive.
And it will.
And your children will go away. And, and you will lose your parents, and you love them like crazy. And so I feel it's so meaningful, the two.
Absolutely. So you want to keep it close.
Yes.
You want to look at it, because you see, by looking at it and experiencing it, you feel more alive.
Much more alive.
And that's
And touched by life, like the beauty and the incredible resilience. And I can be absolutely astonished and in awe of humans if I understand, if I feel those two forces.
True. Yes. So we value every moment more. That the moment that you and I are sitting here today talking to each other, it's very valuable. It's never going to happen again. Who knows what's going to happen next? And that makes this moment here and now more important.
And we can be both in the presence of presence.
Exactly.
We're not selling a movie. You are not selling your podcast. We talk about the real stuff.
Yes.
This is the real stuff.
It is real.
Everything else, it's there.
Is there? Yeah, I was waiting for the word choice. That is what kind of a word choice.
It's there, but this is the real stuff.
Yes.
And death and love. What else is there? And if you somehow can connect with that every day.
Yep. That's the key. And that's why a lot of spiritual practices want you to do daily meditation on your own death.
I know.
And decaying. And I'm sure you probably read the book from Simone de Beauvoir, All Men Are Mortal.
Yes.
That's a beautiful book. And when you read it, you say, it's so good that I'm going to die. Because if you live forever, it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Right? And that makes this short, spark between the life and death so valuable that we feel it. And as you said it in the morning, if you get it out of yourself that day, you're sharp and fresh and you feel it and you sense everything. I think it's really important what you're saying. It's really valuable for people to carry that with them. But it takes certain...
Yeah, and don't sublimize it. Is that English? Sublimize?
Yeah. Sublimation, yeah.
Sublimation.
You don't want to, use sublimation?
No, because that's easy, like to have a sort of spiritual bypass, like, oh, life is suffering and death. And
But don't you think your art form is also a sublimation?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, in a way,
You use your movie and art,
true.
and that's
But I
sublimation.
mean something else. I mean that it does hurt. Right?
Yeah.
The whole point is not that it should not hurt anymore, that you're above the hurt, or above, you are in a conceptual mind, like death and life, and it, because it still truly hurts that everything is temporary. It's not a joyful thing. So you need to feel the enormous, incredible realization that you will lose everything, and still make the dedication to go fully for it. This is where sometimes I have a problem. For instance, I did a lot of Buddhist meditation, and also the death meditations, and I still always feel, oh God, do we have to do that again? You know, like it's still
The process of losing.
the process of losing. Is just the idea that I will lose my children is just beyond my imagination. I can already feel the hurt of it. It's my fear, or, you know, it's my biggest fear that I will lose them. Still, so I'm not above that. So it's still, it's the real thing to feel this.
Yeah, but
To
a
feel
part of it, I can't help it, but, you know, as a psychologist, I can't help it, but just to ask you this question, that usually repression is something that happens in us, that the psyche gradually tries to bring other things to the forefront.
Exactly.
So you are not necessarily consumed by it. But what you are prescribing is really important. It's very delicate process.
Yes.
Because you're able to function while you bring this up. You use it as a drive force for life.
Yes.
But not everybody is able to do that. A lot of people I know, if they keep it in the forefront, they wouldn't be able to function.
No.
So you are at the same time an artist, you're a capable individual, very strong, that you can taste it, but then you also continue your life. So this is something, I guess, depends
It's not
on the
for everyone.
individual. Maybe.
And actually, there's so many ways of grieving. I mean, I know people who also can function, but they do it very differently than I do. And which is, I mean, we all find our own way, right? Like my grandmothers, for instance, they never remarried. They never had any other relationship because they're grieving, and there was the loyalty to their love was to never have someone else again. So for me, as a modern woman, I don't think so anymore. I think the new widows of today, they are beyond that. So I meet a lot of women now who grieve totally different than their grandmothers, because we are independent financially. Our children are. We have a different role in society. We are still working, so it's very different, of course, than before. Than my grandmother, who dressed in black the rest for her life. They had a very different role in society. Also a very interesting one, by the way. Like the widows and the witches, they were all living on the border of the village, right? They were the wise women, but also a bit the dangerous women.
Yeah, they would push them a little bit.
A little bit outside the village. But if something really happens, like a child was born or somebody, they would go to the widows, and because they knew they are the ones. And they are a bit scary because they both know about death and love. They have this. They've been through that, so they work with that. So it's a bit. It's. I think it's interesting, the role of widows in the history of human beings, in India, they burn the widows when their husband died. Did you know that?
No, still?
Still.
As if they're even...
Yeah, because they are afraid. One's mine, nobody else shall have her. So in the pyramids, everybody went
them.
with the pharaohs into the pyramid. The idea that a woman would say, "Okay, now and now
I'm free.
I'm free." There is also the freedom along with it.
Yeah.
That it's something which is opening more and more. Like, oh my God, there's also. Do I dare to feel this? That there's also freedom in this whole process.
So do you think that your movie, because of what you said and your experience, I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, I can't help to see that all the experts in the movie were women.
Yes.
There was no male perspective.
Males are not so good in death. And
Okay, so that was
we give
intentional,
birth, we
right?
know.
That was
No,
intentional, right?
Intentional, only women.
Okay.
Because I think the women nowadays, they are the ones who make new rituals, who dare to make these new rituals, and a lot of the men are still clinging to very old patriarchal rituals that we don't feel at home anymore. So I wanted the women, modern women now,
To have a voice.
around 40, and then the very old one like Joan Halifax, who's a pioneer in grief, but also an activist. So she also has this incredible, interesting role.
But men also grieve.
Oh yes,
But maybe they do differently.
Differently.
And that has also, obviously, is a different topic. We don't want to get into it, but...
I don't think there will be men very easily who will think about, can I make a ritual for children? That's something a woman, I think...
Well, there are plenty of men, as you can see, there are plenty of men that are involved and they are in touch with their feminine side. Because what we are talking about is feminine.
Do you know men who will make rituals for children?
Yes, of course.
Who are in grieving, yes?
Yeah, of course. The thing is, we're talking about the feminine aspect that could be, clarified and attached and connected to by a man. So if a man is in touch with his feminine side, which is the nurturing side, they would be able to do that. The same way.
I didn't meet a lot of men who could. Actually, I was mostly comforted and trained by women.
Maybe in your case, yes. But see, the thing is, right now, you and I, we were talking about Carl Jung.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, he is one of the fathers of psychology, and he was into rituals.
Yes,
when
definitely.
you read his red book that I have here, as you know. So the thing is connecting to the feminine side. But what I wanted to say is that the moment...
Sorry, to interrupt you, because of course we both love Jung.
Right.
But don't you think that what I realize that so many men are so afraid of death, much more than women in a way.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
That's what this was not the first time that I realized that. I saw it also when people were dying before with AIDS. I still have that. I'm from that generation that my friends, when we were 20, it was the women who carried the grief and found the rituals and dared to take the authority. Okay, can we do something else with this? And a lot of the men felt very uneasy also to deal with people who are grieving, because it was all introverted and inside, and for me it was really difficult to connect with men.
But again, this goes back to that most men might not be in touch with their feminine side. But the moment you manage to get out of the town, you wanted to be on your own.
Yes.
You managed to finish your movie. You were in touch with your masculine side.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
So the same goes for a man. A man could be in touch with their feminine side and allow himself to grieve, to connect, to ask for help. I know we need to work more on that, but this is beyond the gender, in my opinion, that both men and women can do it. But traditionally speaking, you're right, traditionally the ritual making was by women. But in modern, if you look at the history of the Europe and magic, most magicians were men. And they were coming up with all the rituals. Like Aleister Crowley, for example, was the beast, like the most famous one. He was one of, if you read the history of the magic, you see most magicians were male.
Yeah.
And they were creating rituals. So this is something that is
But
feminine.
most witches were women.
Yeah, is the feminine aspect.
Yeah.
That the man could connect to it as well as a woman.
Of course they can. But still, it feels like... So for me, giving birth and dying...
Is the same?
It has so many...
So you say that women are more in touch
and
with
the
it.
midwives, the midwives who help you giving birth. So I feel like the women in the movie, they are the midwives of grief, the midwives of helping you grieve. It's of course there are now midwives who are men, which I think is fantastic, and there are also fantastic men who can help you grieve. But for me, it just felt very... when I was in deep grief, either I had to be alone or in the arms of women.
You needed nurturance, yeah.
Yeah, and the same with giving birth. I mean, there were fantastic people, men around me, but I needed a woman.
Yep.
To look her in the eyes and to hold her and to, like to get this baby out and the same is through, you will get through this, even though we don't believe in getting through it, but you will, move through it. I will help you to move through it.
Yeah.
I will give you advice how to move through it. And I needed women for that.
Absolutely.
So that's why I needed the women in the film, because they are midwives of...
Very nurturing. Indeed. I did not feel that way. I was thinking about it because I really enjoyed the movie. To me, it was fantastic. And I also saw that how people react differently to ayahuasca. For example, everybody had a good experience except that gentleman that said that, I guess you guys gave me a wrong,
the wrong drink.
wrong drink, because I still feel pain. But nonetheless, it was very beautiful. I'm thankful.
But all the other people also felt pain, eh?
Yeah.
It was his guilt.
That he was holding on to it.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't feel the pain like the others. And it almost, his heart was really in so much pain.
And you guys didn't put the footage. I'm sure you had footage that while they were going through that trip, ayahuasca trip, I was curious. I said, I wish I could see how he was doing while he was under the influence. But I'm sure because of privacy.
In the movie, you see him, but you see that he's constantly in pain with his heart. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then he says that the prayer...
But we can't hear him. I was just like, I wish I was there.
No, that's the only thing he did.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah, that's the only thing he did.
So he was holding on to it.
Yeah, well, I think he says it beautifully that... So he's Islamic, and he says, I have this... I need to surrender to God.
God's will, kind of.
God's will, kind of. But I have this tremendous guilt as a father because his son
failed.
Suicide. And I think that is so human, what he says. That suicide is... I had it a few times that friends committed suicide, and it's so difficult to live with that. Because there's this whole other dimension of guilt. Couldn't I do something? I even saw it with my father. He was a psychiatrist. When one of his patients killed himself, the whole house was in mourning, even though we did. For weeks, he felt like he failed.
Yeah.
Even though you don't fail, you cannot stop it. but you just feel like it, and so you also feel like it as a human being. That's very different than if someone is
Dying of natural causes.
dies of natural causes, or
Yeah.
even
Well,
with the truck. Yeah, so I think that's also why he's in so much pain, and I think it's beautiful that it's in the movie because you see
yeah, not everybody is
everybody's grieving differently, and not everybody
responding the same.
responds in the same way.
Well, it's a beautiful movie,
Thank you.
and we are grateful that you gave us this time to be here today. Thank you for making such a beautiful
Do you
movie.
think so many people, like today, even the taxi here, says, "What is your movie about?" And I say, "Grief." It's such a conversation stopper, right?
Do you think so?
Oh my goodness! And then people say, "Oh, that's a heavy subject."
Oh, they rather not talk about it?
Yes,
Really? Wow.
even that, because I think what I hear from the audience that people are not sad after the movies. They cry, but they also get
Feel lighter.
lighter.
Yeah.
Did you feel like
I
that?
cried, and then I felt a lot lighter, and I really enjoyed it, especially the ending, the soothing, waves and ocean and the music. It was really needed. So I said, okay, I'm glad that there is at the end, there is just this music and this
Yeah,
soothing.
that was the whole idea, that it became a ritual for the audience themselves. That's why we start with
Yeah,
lighting the
no,
fire.
I
But
loved it.
should, oh, that's
I
good.
loved
That's
it.
nice to hear.
Very nice. And I think it was very refreshing. And it was like, okay, I watched it one time. Okay, now I got it. I want to watch it again because this time then I can pay more attention.
Yeah.
First time maybe it was more like an emotional experience. The
yes.
next time I want to pay more attention to maybe other aspects. So well done. A beautiful movie. I loved it. Cinematography was beautiful. The camera angles, audio, because, I also am in the kind of field. I loved the whole connection and everything. And overall, I felt like it was a very emotional experience for me. It was a journey.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.